So I've tried to figure out multiple times if I should write a book, write a script. Shit, I don't know. I just know that God keeps telling me that my story is important to somebody. I'm still really not sure who. But so part of what I'm going through, trying to sort through my past, part of the reason I'm being very candid and open and real with you is shit's hard. Shit's hard, man. Like moving on from your past is one thing. Healing from your past is something entirely different. And we're humans, but we're beasts. Like, we can withstand some shit. I'm never, it just, I think that's why now in my later years, as I'm going through all this stuff myself, I think that's part of why I'm so fascinated and was so surprised when I started volunteering for the prison crisis hotline. This shit's hard, man. Even for the ones that the world says are horrible human beings. When you get on that phone and you don't know anything about what they've done, all you know is they need you. All that you know is that they're hurting and they're scared. Like, you literally, I mean, it's all anonymous. I pick up the phone, and on the other end is a broken man. And every single one of those inmates I talked to, the only thing in the world that they cared about was love. That's it. I mean, they survived. They got through each day going and surviving and doing shit that they didn't want to do but had to do. But at the end of the night, when they are all alone and they are desperate, they pick up that phone and they don't even give a shit who's on the other line. They don't care who's on the other end. The only thing they cared about was, will you listen? Will you listen for just a minute? Just love me for a minute. I know I'm bad. I know I'm dirty. I know I'm no good. But just listen to me. I don't even care who you are. Just listen to me for a minute. And day after day, I would talk to them. And I never asked them what they did. I didn't want to know. They never asked me. The only thing they ever asked me is why. Why would I donate my time to a monster? Me? I mean, because if you look at me on paper, man, I'm good. I'm real good. Clean driving record, clean criminal record, clean everything. I'm good. I'm pure on paper. In the world's eyes. Bills are paid. I'm good, right? I live in a nice house. The inside looks like shit. But from the outside, it looks good. From the outside, you'd think I had money. I am one broke bitch. Because I know what it feels like to be... for everybody to think you're a monster. Everybody's always thought I was a monster. At least that's how I felt. Maybe I just thought I was a monster. Because what monsters did to me. I don't know. But I knew that I understood. I knew what it felt like to just want to pick up the phone and somebody be there. Anybody. I know what it feels like to be right there, to be on that edge and looking over and going, here I go. I'm fucking ready. God, I'm ready. Like sitting there and just talking to God going, dude, this ain't even worth it, dude. Like I can't get this shit right. I know what it feels like to look around and everybody say it's you. But ain't nobody there going, hey, here, let me help you up. Here, let me help you up. No, they're just, I don't want to help you up. That's the shittiest feeling there is, man. I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fuck up. And I'm going to do it good. I'm going to crawl my ass out of that hole, too. Time and time and time again. And I'm going to do it by myself. You can go ahead and stand over there and point your finger over here, but ain't none of you over here in this hell with me. So, until you get over here in this hell with me, stay the fuck over there. And that's how I lived. So I got it. I understood. And then God just reached through that phone and yanked me up and whooped my ass. You know, like one of them good old-fashioned grandma ass whoopings. So, how do I tell my story? What is my story about? It's about life, love, heartbreak. It's everything. So part of telling my story is writing it down, facing these demons, looking them square in the eye, and owning them. Between the ages of 9 and 17, I had been molested, raped, sodomized, tortured by men, women, adults, and children. I had been bought and sold. I had been used for child pornography and child solicitation and child trafficking. I had been beaten within an inch of my life. I went from living in a 6-bedroom house to choosing to live on the streets. I'd rather sleep under a bridge than sleep in my bed. Before I was 17, I had had 2 miscarriages and 1 abortion, not in a clinic. I had been locked up twice for 1.5 years in a therapeutic Mormon jail that my mother paid money and was willing to pay lots of money to have me at, where I was brutally abused. Brutally. I had lived in over 20 different places and never long enough to ever call it a home. My mother changed my last name 4 times and was married 5. To a biker, a drug addict who is also addicted to sex and pornography, a crooked cop, an EMT, a convicted murderer who chased us halfway across the country, a cattleman farmer who later became a missionary. I can't make this shit up. I had lived in 4 states. My sister was born severely handicapped. She only lived 4 years. And then she died. I had been involved in a Catholic church, a Mormon church, and a Baptist church, and baptized in all 3. But when the sexual abuse started, I tried to make a deal with the devil to make it go away. At 10 years old, I did a seance, and I begged the devil to change my life. And he did. Before I was 16, I had watched a pregnant prostitute overdose and die. No one tried to save her. No one came looking for her. I'm pretty sure she didn't go to the morgue. I lived in a place where the roaches were so thick, you couldn't even brush your teeth without having to move them away. And the lady had shag carpet. And they were stuck in the carpet. And they would multiply in the carpet. It was the most, it was the most, like, you couldn't even sleep. They were everywhere. They were all over you. That's when I chose to start living on the street. I'd lived with everybody else, been kicked out of everywhere else. I'd been on both sides of a knife, a gun, heaven and hell. I've been chased by a man with a shovel. Almost killed him with a damn pitchfork. I can't even make this shit up. I have literally begged for my life. I've also cried out and tried multiple times to end it. I watched my grandmother have breast cancer twice, a double mastectomy, and my mother have an absolute total mental breakdown. I've had the satisfaction of reuniting with my father and getting to know him, only to have to run halfway across the country to protect my mother. I couldn't tell you how to make a mud pie or skip a rock. I can't tell you what it's like to be on a tire swing. I can't tell you what it's like to give something so precious to somebody. At no point in my life have I ever known what it felt like to kiss a boy and not feel dirty. To kiss a girl and not feel dirty. At no point in my life have I ever felt a hug that didn't come with conditions. except for once. Okay, maybe not once. When my children were little. That was the first time I ever felt pure love. That was the first time when I had my first son. The first time he hugged me back. I'd never felt that before. It was so pure. I was so scared. I was so scared I'd hurt him. I had 4 more. And oh my God, I loved him. I did everything I could for them, but I was so scared. I was so scared I'd hurt him. I was so scared that I would damage them. And then anyways, this is just, I didn't have 4 kids before I was 17. Let me get that straight. I did have my first live birth at 17. 18, I was 18. 17 when I got pregnant. He saved my life. That child saved my life the first time. I debated whether or not to have an abortion with him because I was so young. Still, even though I had already been pregnant 3 times. But those were different. Those weren't my choice. I mean, it was this one, but you know, it was a little more my choice. I don't know. Why tell my story? What's my story about? I don't even know. Everything. Life, love, pursuit of happiness. Life. God. It's about God. I shouldn't be here. I know I shouldn't be here, and you know, I think sometimes that makes it even harder because I'm here for a reason. All of this was for a reason. I just don't know what that reason is. God keeps telling me this is part of it, but shit, this is just embarrassing. I've spent my entire life being ashamed. I'm not really sure how much of it I've got left, and I really just don't want to be ashamed anymore. I'm tired. And I've only told you about the first 17 years of my life. I'm 43. And I haven't even told you the details. Just the summary. Okay, well, here goes nothing, huh? Here we go.